Hello out there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. God bless you. I bring you greetings in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. I'm going to try to be very, very short on this video, but what you have here is that Solomon Izangasham's Uncle Soul has finally come out to apologize. You need to listen to know those that he apologized to, who he apologized to, how and why he made the apologies. Now, before I get you to listen to his apologies, I want to sound this very, very clearly. Because I know that there are some who are for Israel, some are for Solomon, and so some of you may be thinking, I am for Israel or for Solomon. Now, there is no reason to think of that. I don't love Solomon differently and then hate Israel differently, and I don't hate Solomon and love Israel. Even Israel, as a person, doesn't actually trust me. He doesn't think I'm genuine. He doesn't think I'm sincere doing what I'm doing, but that has nothing to do with what I'm doing. What I'm doing is specifically, to God, and a validation comes from God. No man gives validation. Man can approve you, and God can disapprove you, and God can approve you, and man may think you are doing something else. All right. So, but what gives me joy is the feedback I get from those that the Lord has used our seemingly non-consequential activities to affect their lives, and they speak to me off camera at the background, and that is enough. And so thank you and welcome to the End Time Truth Television. I'd like you to pay attention. There are some points that I'm going to discuss from the apologies at the end of it all. So I'd like you to pay close attention and listen to Brother Solomon Izangashams as he makes his apologies. Here we go.
You are welcome to the End Time Truth Television, the channel for the lovers of truth, for the truth of the end time. So if you are a lover of truth, give us a subscription and God bless you. Shalom.
I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you. If you're here for the very first time, I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys who've been here and supporting. Those of you guys who are subscribed, some of you guys following me on Facebook, thank you. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. And I want to apologize to those who support what I do. I have to be careful what I'm saying. I want to apologize to those who support what I do. I am not apologizing to the one who faked his death. I'm apologizing to those who follow what I do. Apologizing why? Apologizing because I lost you as I bring facts and information around the so-called death of a charlatan who faked his death. So what I do is I always try to check my facts, bring it out here, and I did that. This person faked his death, but then I turned the table on him. That's what happened. So I apologize to you in case you feel I misinformed you. No, every information that I gave you until the very last video that I did is based on the facts that I've gathered. Someone who faked his death because he's in debt, he's in trouble because he needed the money, and he's going around now getting money from people. I'm not going to glorify him by mentioning his name, but you know who I'm talking about. So you who support truth, not just support me, support truth. This man who faked his death, he didn't play me, because at the end of the day, I put everything out there. He's going around now, speaking to people that I know, asking them to get me to apologize to him. I would never apologize to a criminal. Never. Would never do that. They wanted to send sources to me to work for their own good, but when I discovered that this whole thing was fake and I turned the table, that was just it. Forget about this guy telling you that he is sick, he is this. This guy is a #1 top Yahoo person. I leave it there.
All right, all right, all right. Like I said, I'm going to be very, very brief, and I'm just going to pick some points from what Solomon Izangacham said. First and foremost, I want to say, all right, kudos that at least he had the guts, the boldness, the temerity to come out and say he was sorry. But then, the tone of the apologies is what I want to look at. Now, first and foremost, to start with, yes, he offended those that support him. He offended the general public. He offended people like me too, because I follow him too, and by misinforming every one of us. And if I had gone ahead to also carry out that news that he gave, I would have also stood the danger of having misinformed my own people, those who are also on my platform. So that is good. But then I think that the first person that he offended here, humanly speaking, is not actually just his followers. I think that the first person he offended was J. Israel. And then he said he was not going to apologize to the one who faked his death. Now, the truth remains that we may not get into the nitty-gritty of what really happened. But the question one has to ask here is, if J. Israel faked his death, J. Israel did not, there was no announcement on J. Israel's platform, his Instagram, his Facebook, his YouTube channel. There was no announcement or postings that suggest to anyone that J. Israel was even sick in the first place. J. Israel has been quiet for about 2-3 months, when nobody saw him again. Now, the only place I saw him was on a video that this same Solomon posted, where he entitled it a caption that J. Israel is lost or something like that. Now, this was the last place and time I saw J. Israel actively being involved in a video or in an audio form. Now, so saying that he wouldn't apologize to the one who faked his death, referring to J. Israel, is for me being economical with what is real. Had even J. Israel wrote on anywhere that, first and foremost, that he was critically ill. Now, we'll begin to look at it maybe that Jay was not ill at all, and then was now trying to get money from people. And if you listen to the video I made, I spoke with a person that knew Jay, who confirmed to me that, yeah, Jay had problem. He was sick. Now, if we are actually going to look at this that Solomon said about J. Israel faking his death. Now, the truth was that when Solomon came out with the first post that he made, where he alluded or claimed that J. Israel was critically ill, that Solomon, was in Durban, and he was actually pointing at his back. He was in Durban, and the hospital was very close to him. Now, it was an opportunity for him at least to enter the hospital, to meet with J. Israel, either to pray with him, to pray for him, or at least pretend to come around because I heard you are sick, I heard you are in this place, and I wish to come and say hello and to pray with you. Even if he doesn't mean it, at least in order to be sure. And he told us, because he made mention of his sources, a verification of his facts, and all that. Now, the verification of the facts actually failed. Now, honestly speaking, it has come out, and just as he had the good heart to at least make mention of being apologizing to people. If he had gone ahead to say, J. Israel, I'm sorry, I apologize to you, I wouldn't be saying this. And mind you that I'm not speaking for J. Israel. I won't say more than this, but we're just looking at this as humans, because now this is a social space, and we must call a spade a spade. He said he checked his facts, and he told us he trusted the sources that gave him the information. Now that the table has turned, he's a kind of trying to make it look like it was J. Israel that planted those people that gave him sources. Now, but when the first post was made, a post was created on J. Israel's social handle. The first post was made about 5 days ago. If it was 5 days ago, today is 11, so which means on the 6th or 5th of this month. He says, "Dear friends, for public release, dear friends, colleagues, acquaintances, brethren in Christ, and brethren in the Lord, please debunk the false news circulating on social media platforms that the servant of God J. Israel Sr. was hospitalized supposedly for malicious and unfounded fallacies aimed at disturbing the man of God from his long break from social media, praying and seeking the face of God and looking for answers for the human race. Despite recovering from anxiety, J. Israel Sr. is well and full of life, very positive, and looking forward to the great year ahead, full of the manifestation of God's promises and His love. Because God is love, let us love one another and show love where needs be. As we all need love to keep us hopeful for the future, let us continue to pray for the man of God, J. Israel Sr., for a great return to preach the love of God and His fullness thereof. Stay in the love of God. Now, so this was a post that was made when Solomon the first time gave us the information, because he was the only person that broke this news. It was not anywhere else. He was the one that brought the information that J. Israel had been sick. And when he came up to repeat the video that made me now to get a call across to the woman that you listened to in the video where I made and I questioned the reason for this kind of a post that said J. Israel may not make it alive out from the hospital. He referred to this post that J. Israel was not the one that wrote this post. I believe that J was not the one that wrote this post. Whether he was or not, the tonality of the post shows that somebody else wrote it on behalf of J. Israel. Solomon claimed that J. Israel loved to attack him, that if it was J and if J was in good health, J would have come up and out and would have been very, very vociferous about the whole thing. Now, after this was when he made the second video. Now, still claiming the sources, and he was like, he had pictures that he wouldn't post the pictures because he has no permission from the person that gave him the pictures to post. J. Israel had stroke. Now, in this post, J. Israel did not deny being sick, but it suggested that he suffered something and was well on his way to recovery. Now, until the third post, and the third post that broke the news, that post was first made on his Facebook. Now, because what I'm looking at now is J. Israel being the one that faked his death. Okay, let's admit that when the J. Israel's camp saw that there was this kind of I don't know how to put it. I don't want to say that Solomon is happy to see J. Israel dead, but the body language and the reactions and the actions and how he was eager to report this was what made it look like Solomon is happy to report this thing. Now, a question I said, what use is it, even when we are at the age of social media, there's supposed to be some form of decorum when we do things. What joy would it give if we bring out the calamity of somebody, the pains of others, and spread it on social media? Now, this note did not end here. I think after Solomon made that other post where he claimed that J. Israel may not make it alive, which was very harsh. It was very harsh. Now, let's agree that J. Israel was sick, and J. Israel has a mother. J. Israel has a sister. J. Israel has friends. He has at least people around him. And somebody is spreading this on the social media that this guy may not make it alive. Now, they came out again and said, "Attention all, God is love. Let us continue praying for the man of God, J. Israel Sr. Whether the circulating news is true or false, where is the love of God? To all those rejoicing over the unconfirmed news, where is the love of God? To all those declaring calamity over the man of God, J. Israel Sr., that he will die in hospital, where is the love of God? Let us please respect the privacy of the man of God and his family during these trying times. God is love." Now, this is worded enough for somebody to at least shake himself and hold himself back. And so these are not the wordings of somebody that was trying to set a trap for anybody. Now, even if, okay, let's agree that a trap was set, now you walked into it. So walking into it now, I really do not see where J. Israel faked his death. The first and second postings now was not something, there is no evidence to say that J. Israel sent some persons, because you didn't tell us that. You told us that the sources you trusted gave you information, and these are people that cannot be controverted. And so you fact-checked and brought the information on the tables. Now look at it this way. Somebody is sick on the hospital, and then his mother is around, and somebody is announcing to the world that this person may not make it alive, and the mother is alive hearing this. And of course, there are people who know his mother that would call. Is it true that your son is sick? How serious is it? What is this thing we are hearing on the social media? The sister, even the man himself that allegedly is very sick. Anybody that is sick is 50-50. No matter how small you think the sickness is, it's 50-50. People can be sick and die, and people can be sick and recover. And it is not, take it from me, it is not a taboo for anybody to be sick. Even though that Solomon said he was told that this sickness was necessitated or was occasioned by overdose of cocaine that was done by J. Israel. Now the fact is that J. Israel said he doesn't do cocaine anymore. He did it in the past, and all that we can do is to say this is what he said. He doesn't do it anymore. All right. Now all of you have heard, some of you might have heard that J. Israel at least has spoken to some persons. He spoke to Niger Craziest, which is a very good thing, because when I did the video I did yesterday that J. Israel has spoken, majority said until they see his face, at least you have heard his voice. Now, so he faked his debts for money. How can someone now fake his debts for money? And now how would he get the money? Because nobody gives money to the dead body. And I do not think that J. Israel has exposed his families to people that would, okay, we heard that your brother is dead, please can you take this, and support yourself. Now it was still that same day that this death thing was announced that Solomon was also informed again that he had made a mistake. It was that same day again that he came out to say he wasn't sure again, that it might be true, it might be false. So he claimed he turned the table on them. Now I think that this is not actually necessary. Who announced this? From the first day, it was you, Solo, that made this announcement. And I think that claiming that J. Israel has been speaking to people to come and apologize to him doesn't make sense. Because I think that if J. Israel wants, he can sue you to court. That is just the truth. He can sue you to court for spreading this kind of malicious information about him. He's still alive. And I think that the mature thing to do, my brother, is to swallow your pride and apologize to J. Israel. Apologize to his mother, apologize to his family, apologize to those that this thing injured. Now, claiming that he faked his death for money is adding insult to injury, is adding more pains to the one that you have actually caused before. Now, see, we know Jay had made some mistakes and he had lived some kind of life, but then on that basis, nobody has the right to do this kind of a thing to a living soul. J. Israel is still alive. And even when you called, allegedly, J. Israel's sister, you played that note with all confidence that you knew what you were saying. And that lady pleaded, begged for privacy. Now, even though that call was made in disguise, I must be sincere with us here, brethren, that call was disguised. Solomon pretended to be J. Israel's friend, even though he was trying to, make some kind of explanation. Unfortunately, he has deleted that video now. But then the lady asked for privacy, and the next thing was to bring it on the social media. All right, was it J. Israel that asked you to make the call? Let's agree now that when they have seen how zealous you are to pronounce this thing, to announce it, and they say, okay, let us play along with you. Now you walked into it. So it is not really about him faking his death because of money. If ever he faked his death, there was some kind of debunking that was done. So if he was really interested in faking his death, or I think what he should, if this was for money, what J. Israel would have done, that first announcement of him being very, very sick, he would amplify it on his social media handle. That is where people will be more sympathetic of him and want to donate to save his life. When one is dead, what other contribution are you making? A contribution to bury him, right? Now, so if it was really for money, where J. Israel would have gotten money would have been from that first video that Solomon made that said J. Israel was very sick. Having done that, now J. Israel's team will pick it up and post it on the social media. Jay has up to over 400,000 followers on Facebook. So that would have been an avenue to rake in money if it was actually for money. I mean, this doesn't make sense now. It doesn't make sense. If they wanted to cash in or to cash out from it, what they would do is to amplify the first video that you made and use that to ask for help. People should contribute because J. Israel is struggling with life, and such amount of money is what is needed to save his life. Even though that it has been reported that he may not make it, but no, what will save his life is money. I tell you, no matter how much he has made mistake, there are still people that love J. Israel. People still love him, and they would have contributed. So there is no way he would have made more money by faking his death. But consistently, about 2 times. 2 times the first 2 videos came out. 2 times they came out and they debunked it. And they even inserted in one of it that, yeah, he was recovering from anxiety. And that anxiety, whatever it is, the backlash that J. Israel has received over the years, his own mistakes that he has admitted and, would admit and go back, admit and go back, and the loneliness that had trailed, his campaign and all that. I want you to understand that those would be enough for him to to have some kind of shock. And that probably may have resulted in the partial stroke that he may have suffered. But the voice that we heard is not the voice of someone that is at the point of death. Everyone will die. So what I don't understand is, why should we be eager to announce the death of another person when death is actually a stake that everybody has? Well, anyway, what I'm saying is that Uncle Soul should be humble enough to do, even if it is 1-minute video, to say to the family of J. Israel and to J. Israel in question, put away hate, we are Christians. No matter what happened, there are 2 pictures in the thumbnail. J. Israel and Solomon would have formed a kind of, a team, a union that would have been very, very difficult for South African and African false prophets to break, because they would have been formidable. But unfortunately, whatever happened between them happened. If what happened was what we were told, that Solo was looking for a truly repentant J, and J was still indulging in certain things, it doesn't call for an enmity. Now you have gone your separate ways. In your own corner, do your things and don't attach hate to it. Yeah, we can easily say we don't hate, but there are certain things we do and say that suggest that there is that hatred. When you say you cannot mention his name, because mentioning his name is giving him honor, dignifying him, but then you mentioned his name when you were talking about his sickness, when you said he died, he was dead, you mentioned his name. You mentioned his name. Well, anyway, let it not be as if I am taking paracetamol for another person's headache. But since we have been doing all these things together, we are doing it together, we have been talking about these things, we must do it. Hatred is not part of our calling as Christians. Believe you me, when the daughter of Bushiri died, people were celebrating it. And I was like, how can people do this? People were asking, he could heal others. His daughter, he could not heal. I was like, no, but it is not like that. It doesn't work like that. And actually, it doesn't work like that. Admittedly, Bushiri is fake. He has never healed anybody. He hasn't healed anybody. We know that he hasn't healed anybody. Now, the fact is that even if he has been healing people, and there is, a destined point that child would die, the child would die. Apostle Paul has been healing people. And then when it came to his own case, he besought God 3 times, and God said, I'm not going to remove it. Just leave it there. I'm aware that it is there. So that is how God works. When Suleiman's convoy was attacked, you see, people were like, why could he not raise the people that died? And why could his anointing not stop the people that died? I don't operate like that. He's not God. Even though that I don't believe in Suleiman anymore. I believed in him when I knew him early. But the things around him now makes it too difficult for me to believe in him. Not because we are saying that nobody can fall. Anybody can fall. But when you fall, you rise. Now, but that it will be very wicked to say to him, you have raised dead. Why didn't you raise them? He is not God. He is not God. All right? The only thing I said when I made video was, why do we need too many vehicles? If you have a bulletproof van, why not get another one? So that you don't need to travel with 10 vehicles in your convoy. And you are in one with your family, maybe about 2 or 3 aides will be in the other. Maybe the policemen you want to travel with, fine. So that when such thing happens, they too will be protected. That was all I said. And I still got, bashing from it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we should not be seen as if we rejoice over people's pain, over people's misfortune and calamities. This is just my point. And I hope, I have made my point. Some persons might be offended, but please, in your being offended, still remain a Christian. God bless you. Let's know what you think about the video. I'm out of here. Till I see you in the next video, I remain your brother in the Lord, and from me to you, shalom.